After the U.S. Federal Reserve announced that XRP could be used, David Andel, Senior Vice President of the St. Louis Federal Reserve Branch, talked about how RippleNet could be used to make payments. RippleNet's reliance on XRP as a go-betweener for these transfers has been a big problem. To put it more directly, it was brought up that the Fed could give settlement duty to a third party like Ripple. If this happens, the XRP's value will go up a lot, and it might even reach $110,000. Also, it's important to remember that the Federal Reserve's move is not a surprise. Sometime in the past few weeks or months, the Federal Reserve told the public that they were aware of how XRP and XLM could help improve the blockchain part of their Fed payment service. At the moment, all eyes are on Ripple, which is known for its open-source technology and innovative ways to send money across borders. To make it easier to do business with money, adding waves. Please hit the like button, click subscribe, and then turn on our feature before we start. Tech with Fed, the Fed Now payment tool from Now, is expected to play a big role in taking the value of XRP to new heights. Hey, I trust your information on everything that has to do with XRP. Alerts. When we reach 10,000 XRP, we will start a great gift for people who want to join our family. To make sure you get a spot, just do these 3 things and use the word MoneySide in your comments. We can get right to today's subject, which is Ripple's relationship with, in the first part of the study, the Faster Payment Task Force approach, which was made public on the Federal Reserve's website, Federal Reserve Gov. Ripple is named as a key partner for payment solutions with the Federal Reserve. As an example, the study stresses Ripple's ability to make instant foreign payments, which usually take 2 to 4 days and don't show fees or keep track of them. This is changed by Ripple, which offers instant settlement and full transparency of fees and payment status. We also learned that Ripple and the Federal Reserve have grown their relationship to include ad payments made within the country. A lot of evidence supports this, and viewers can pause and read one of the most important parts of the report, which talks about how central banks like the Federal Reserve, the Bank of England, and the Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority have worked with Ripple to make the country's payment system better. Another important part is that the study talks about Ripple Labs' innovative approach at the very beginning of payment processing, with a focus on providing a free real-time settlement system around the world. It shows that the Federal Reserve and Ripple's decentralized peer-to-peer settlement system are going to take over the current ways of sending money, getting ready to accept and live by. When this change began a year ago, the Ripple logo was shown widely in a Federal Reserve segment on Fox News about the possibility of a digital U.S. dollar. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the Bank of International Settlements, BIS, were 2 other groups that used the Ripple image. The Federal Reserve Board's decision to add Ripple to their shadows list of partners shows that they are interested in the company's technology. This shows that the Bank of International Settlements is the main owner of a large portion of the world's wealth. In particular, Ripple's move into this market is a big change. We have an Fred Shar Board of Governors Senior Advisor Jess Chan was quoted in a Department of the Interior news release. For those who want to know more, Jess, who used to be Ripple's Assistant General Counsel, is thought to be in charge of this project. It's very complicated and there's a lot to learn about it. This is only the beginning of what I'm going to say. You might be shocked to learn that the Federal Reserve recently warned that banks could lose money because of rising interest rates and pressure on the real estate market. They have also been talking about this with a number of partners since the beginning of March. It looks like BRICS and the EU are getting ready to join XRP. Even more, the European Union has said that the digital euro, which will handle money exchanges, will be built on top of XRP. Several reports from the XRP ledger support this claim and show that XRP's value is likely to rise soon. One expert in the field says that the price could hit $500 or even $10,000 when it really takes off around the world. As we watch the movie, it becomes clear that XRP's story is quickly moving beyond the SEC's fight against Ripple. BRICS countries have decided to set up their own central digital currency in banks based on the XRP ledger and Ripple. The most latest data shows that this central digital currency is already in use. Bank currency will become an important global financial tool when BRICS and Waves push it. Let's start our trip in Brazil, where Ripple has helped bring about a revolutionary change. There are signs of its large network in every BRICS country. Brazil has put in place a state-of-the-art method for on-demand liquidity for cryptocurrencies. This service has made a big difference in the way Brazil's financial technology has grown. The next step is to turn our attention to Russia. A lot of papers show that President Putin has moved his focus away from the US dollar and the petrodollar. Since SWIFT cut Russia off from their payment method, there has been Ripple Labs is going through a big change because they want to make a digital currency based on the XRP ledger that is based on the Russian CBDC central bank. This move not only gets around the SWIFT ban, but it also uses the decentralization of the XRP ledger to make sure that Russia can keep using the global financial system. And now we'll look at India. Ripple is the main player in yet another case. Important initiative. It is what drives India's bold digital rupee project, which is made possible by Ripple Labs technology, and is a big step toward India's goal of becoming a global CBDC. That's not the end of the story, though. So that it can be one of the main digital currencies used by banks, China has also joined the trend by teaming up with Ripple. The partnership shows how Ripple's influence is growing in the African banking sector. The story is similar. The 2022 African Blockchain Report says that South Africa and more than a dozen other African countries use Ripple and XRP as payment providers. This shows how important CBDs are becoming to the XRP ledger across the continent. The fact that so many people are using the ledger shows how important it is becoming to Africa's financial system. In fact, the most current BRICS report named XRP as the best digital currency for payments. This recognition by BRICS strengthens XRP's position as a market leader in the area of digital currencies. This is due to recent improvements that have led to a rise in XRP price predictions and some interesting predictions that caught our attention when top financial analysts said that XRP would cost $5.50. It makes sense to look into it further, and that's how we found the interesting source of ChatGPT, a famous AI bot that specializes in cryptocurrencies like XRP. Ripple, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano are all expected to grow by a huge 100,000% by 2024. It's not a surprise that the price is going up like this, especially since Arthur Brito, one of the co-founders of Ripple, thinks the cryptocurrency was meant to hit $10,000. Brito is also sure that XRP can grow and meet the needs of how much does $1.50 mean to you when you consider that the world's people need about $7 billion, $500 million, $150 is just a way to get an idea of how much XRP could be worth. To get to the ultimate price of $10,000, which requires a world scale and a lot of money, flow through the XRP ledgers, which supports this trend even more. 21 countries have decided not to use the US dollar, and more virtual organizations are working with AI to make CBD.